Staying with that story, the Nigerian government has dismissed reports suggesting that the Ministry of Petroleum has directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to sell fuel at 1,000 naira, far above the approved pump price. The false report claimed that the Minister of State for Oil and Gas, Heineken Lokpobiri, gave the directive. In a statement on Tuesday, Lokpobiri's aide, Nnemaka Okafor, condemned the report as fabricated and aimed at causing confusion in the oil sector. Okafor clarified that the government has never interfered with petroleum pricing or directed a price increase. She called the claims baseless and malicious and challenged anyone with evidence to come forward. Okafor emphasized that NNPCL operates independently, governed by its board of directors under the Companies and Allied Matters Act. To discuss this, we're joined by an oil and gas expert, George Brown. George, thank you for joining us. Considering what we currently know about the financial challenges before the NNPCL, was the statement by the minister necessary about the fuel price hike? I mean, some people have bought as far as 900 even before now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, I can. Did you get my question? Yeah. Please go ahead with your response if you did.
Yes. Yes. Good evening, and thank you for having me. Good evening, viewers. It's rather unfortunate that we're finding ourselves in the country in such a situation again. We've said it for the umpteenth time that the country has no reason to rely on her energy needs via the means of importation of refined products. The refineries in the country that are state-owned have not been functional for over a decade, yet you keep people there, you pay them salaries, you promote them, you send them on courses abroad and locally, you build their capacity for doing nothing, and above all, they're even hiring fresh people. So I wonder what kind of business template is that rewards zero productivity. However, we now have the Dangote refinery that has come upstream. And the NNPCL has come up to say that because they are the sole importer of PMS, while other products are deregulated, that they will also insist and continue to be the sole buyer of PMS from Dangote's refinery, while dealers, depots, and distributors will have to buy from them. So talking about a monopoly, that's what NNPC is trying to become, even in a privately owned refinery that they have a stake. Yes, we know they have a stake, but it is the stake that they have gives them the leeway to be the sole the product, the pricing to achieve. And I think the NNPC business model is obsolete, it's not in sync with the requirements of the day, and it's not realistic. So the NNPC should revisit it. If we want to deregulate, there should be complete and total deregulation, not what we have discovered to see and we're experiencing as partial deregulation. Our energy security is paramount because our energy security affects every aspect of our daily lives as citizens of this country.
George,
the spiraling effect, yes.
What should Nigerians brace up for? Because if the NNPCL is selling at over 800, there's every likelihood that independent marketers might begin to sell as far as 1,015. What should Nigerians be expecting? Do you expect further rise in prices?
Okay, let me inform Nigerians. In the city of Port Harcourt today, the NNPC mega fueling station was selling at 855, while independent marketers were selling for 1,300, and black marketers are selling for between 1,500 and 1,800. In a place like Bonny Island, which I know a lot of Nigerians should know about, is a 1-hour boat ride from Port Harcourt. Bonny Island buys the PMS for 2,200 naira a liter. 2,200 naira for the liter of PMS. So Nigerians should brace up. It's going to be a very long road, but it's not rocket science. We'll continue to say this. It's not rocket science. The crude oil is present here in the country. Yes, we know that there are a lot of back and forth and a lot of contractual issues surrounding the percentage share or stake of the NNPCL in the JV with the IOCs and other local and marginal producers in the country. And they have, sold some of these products in advance, and the country is still taking loans even after selling these products in advance. And if we begin to interrogate,
okay, the network is affecting the audio from George's end. George, if you can hear me, I'm going to just put out this question in the hope that by the time the network comes up, you'll be able to pick it up. I wanted to talk about the NLC putting out a statement expressing they feel betrayed by the price hike, and they are demanding an immediate reversal as per terms for the new minimum wage agreement for 70,000 naira. We also hear there is a meeting in the coming days to make a decision on how to move forward. What likely action do you foresee from the NLC, and will it at this point have any impact considering the expressed fatigue as to the leadership being provided for the Nigerian workers by the NLC?
Okay, the NLC made us to know that they were offered 250,000 minimum wage with a PMS price of 1,500 per liter, and they turned it down. So it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. You give with the right hand and you take it back with the left hand. But they went for the 70,000, believing that the price of the PMS will not exceed 650 at the independent marketers' pump price, while the NNPCL mega filling stations will be selling at between 500 and 555, right? But you can now see that the government has backtracked on that, and even the NNPC is today selling at 855 in the city of Port Harcourt. They are selling at 855. While the independent marketers that form the bulk of the distribution network, they own over 80% to 85% of all the filling stations in this country. All the petrol stations in this country, gas stations in this country are owned by the Independent Marketers Association, members of that association. And they are selling at much higher margins at prices because of the marginal costs that they have and expenses that they run in getting the products from the depot. So we're in a very, very terrible situation. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. We don't know what will be the outcome of this. Of course, the concomitant and resultant effect of this increase in the price of PMS is that it's going to affect everything along the value chain that has to do with logistics, that has to do with transportation. It will affect the price of food, and it will affect the price of every other thing. And the situation in the country is worse already. And imagine us going into this. So what was the outcome of the end bad governance struggle?
George, that is a question everyone is concerned about as well, especially with the prosecution of some of those who participated in the end bad governance protest. I guess we'll know what happens in the coming days. Hopefully there'll be some reaction from the president, who is currently outside our shores. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.